Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we have a few extra things from Swell today that I've picked up across Twitter this morning. And I think tomorrow morning, on Thursday morning, my son, I have to take him to an early morning workout. Otherwise, I'd sleep in tomorrow morning, but I got to get up a little bit early. It's not going to be Swell early, which is like 3:30 in the morning, but it'll be earlier than I would normally get up. But we will be up and at 'em, and I'll get to it as fast as I can. But first, let's look at this Brad Garlinghouse. Our fourth annual Ripple Swell 2020 has officially commenced from Toronto to San Francisco, Singapore to virtual. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers, panels, demos, and some fun surprises over the next 2 days. Swello and welcome. That's a new word. Swello. Swello and welcome. I am thinking there's going to be something interesting coming up tomorrow. That's just what my gut is telling me. Now, Brad Garlinghouse was apparently on Maria Bartiromo on Fox this morning. Thanks Maria Bartiromo for having me on this AM. U.S. interests, companies, and innovation are all at stake in this race for control of our future global financial infrastructure. China, UK, and others are far ahead. U.S. is out of sync and needs to implement a clear regulatory framework now. And then here is this. I haven't even watched it yet. I'm watching it as you watch it right now.
Joining me right now is the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. Brad, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. So you're saying you want a system in the United States where you actually see cryptocurrency and a structure for it. Explain the issue that you're referring to on Twitter, Brad.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for having me. I think what the world should really understand, and certainly here in the United States, is that we are in a race with China. I think as we look back 3 or 4 years ago, there was a race around 5G networks. And I think if we look back in time today, we're going to find that we're at risk of making the same mistake again. And the mistake this time isn't about telecommunications networks and wireless networks. It's about global financial infrastructure. It's about global payments. Even this morning, I saw a new headline about how China is leaving others in the dust. I think in the race we're in, many countries are just in the process of getting a learner's permit. So for Ripple, we are looking at how do we make sure we can compete on a level playing field. And unfortunately, here in the U.S.,
there's that term again.
Government that look at cryptocurrencies one way, and others look at it another way. Sometimes it's looked at as a currency or a commodity or maybe a security. And depending on how it's looked at, it's regulated very differently. I think the Chinese Communist Party is being very strategic and is very focused on dominating this technology. I think there's little doubt that today, China is well ahead of where others are around the world. And I think we have to decide as a country, and really the rest of the globe, how we want to respond to that.
And I suspect because we don't have a proper structural framework, regulatory framework in place, the broad public has questions about it. So how do you trust something that there's really not a regulatory framework around?
That really is the problem. And it's kind of, for a company like Ripple, who is certainly, I'm a proud U.S. citizen. I grew up in Kansas and certainly want to remain here in the United States. But even last week, there was a report that came out of the Department of Justice that was talking about cryptocurrencies, and it listed 8 separate U.S. regulatory bodies, each of them with a slightly different view on crypto. Some thought it's a property. Some, the IRS looks at it in one way. The CFTC looks at it another way. And I think really what we're seeing is the U.S. is out of sync with what a lot of other countries, G20 markets, are doing. Countries like the UK, as you mentioned up top, Singapore, Japan, even the UAE and Switzerland. These are all really good examples where there's a clear regulatory framework that's allowing for a healthy market to develop. I moved to Silicon Valley 20 plus years ago when the internet as we know it today was being born. And part of the success in the United States around the internet was because there was clarity for companies to invest. And there's a very level playing field for investment to
There's that phrase again, level playing field.
As we think about the next version of the internet around global cryptocurrencies, global financial infrastructure, if there's a disincentive to invest here in the United States, it will go elsewhere. And certainly where we've seen some examples of US regulators actually advantaging Chinese technologies, that's the real kind of like conundrum we're in, is that if the US government's doing things to advantage a Chinese technology at the disadvantage to a company like Ripple and others like Ripple, then that's a really frustrating place to be. And that's why we have taken the step to look at, should we relocate the company to a country where it is clear?
I think you're making really important points, Brad. I'm glad you're getting this into the conversation. Let me bring in Bob Nardelli here. Bob, go ahead.
Hey, Brad. Again, as a fellow CEO, I can hear the passion in your voice, and I understand your frustration. But at a time when we're trying to do more onshoring, I would hope that, I think you would realize that we're in a very unique situation here with the pandemic. We're trying to get the Supreme Court. We've got an election. I remember vividly being on Maria's show when we were talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency, and it was at the top of the stack of discussion. So I just wonder if there's a pause that you could take to, remedy some of the concerns you had. How do you feel about that? I mean, is there a way for you and your colleagues to unite to try to get more attention on this and get it organized, as Maria points out, please?
Absolutely. And, look, the reason why I am out talking about this, as Maria pointed out, we want there to be awareness around this, because I think my experience has been when people understand the issue, then they're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. We didn't mean to create that dynamic where we're advantaging a Chinese technology over U.S. companies. And so there is momentum around this on Capitol Hill. Actually, just recently, there's a new framework introduced. It's called the Digital Commodity Exchange Act that was introduced in Congress in, I believe, the Ag Committee, and there's bipartisan support.
Yep. You don't want to cede all of this innovation to China. Brad, you make a very important point. I'm glad.
What, did they accidentally go out on him?
In Congress. We'll keep talking about this, and please come back soon. Brad Garling.
Brad Garlinghouse, he looked kind of surprised when they started taking him out. He had a shocked look on his face. That was kind of funny. All right. So this is more of Brad Garlinghouse expressing his, we've seen Chris Larson talk about China, David Schwartz talk about China and how they're ahead. We've seen Brad Garlinghouse. It's obviously a drum beat coming out of Ripple that China, and for me, this feels like pressure being put on politicians or whatever. Who knows? But look, I'm not going to go any further into that. You know what I feel about all this. Let's go forward and show you a couple more things about Swell. Jonathan D sent me, and by the way, while we're on China, I'm going to go ahead and show you this. This was sent to me by XRP Ripple Savage. This is China right now. This is a demo where this lady's in the street in China. She's showing you, and I showed you a different one today, but she goes in a store. Watch this.
Hello there. Today I'm in Shenzhen, and I met a girl here. She has got something that I don't have. It's the digital RMB. So, Fang, show me. How does it look like? This is the app, right? You have to download the app.
Once you slide, you can see the receipt of the payment. And slide next, you can see the payment directly. And you also can make a transaction here by putting in the telephone number.
It looks very easy.
Yes, it's very user-friendly.
Shenzhen initiated a pilot program of distributing some 10 million digital RMB to 50,000 people. That was through lottery and only for people in Luohu, a major district in the city. And each of those lucky people can get 200 digital RMB as gift money. Do you know any other of your friends or colleagues who also get this money?
Actually, no.
You're the only one.
From the friend around, yeah.
Yes, lucky you. Now over 3,000 stores in Luohu district accept digital money. For example, this one. 这个可以有。哎，请问一下，就是最近用这个人的多不多呀？用这个什么数字人民币的？
最近应该有10来个吧。
每天有10来个。So, would you like to buy?
Yeah, sure. We can buy some drinks.
It's interesting. Half of them are wearing masks and half are not. Thought that was kind of interesting. All right, you get the picture. I don't know if that music's going to get me hit with a copyright. All right, let's go back to Jonathan D, because he showed me a couple of interesting things that showed up at Swell. Some people got some screenshots. This right here this is from Lord Vendetta. RippleNet, this is the RippleNet demo, and he caught this Bank of America logo. Meanwhile, Bank of America is sending Rose's payment information to Topazio. All right. And so there you go. There's a Bank of America logo. And then there was this. The Cryptic Poet grabbed this screenshot. I don't think this is necessarily, this one might be from Swell, but he says, before versus after, Ripple will now sell your XRP. No need to pre-fund domestically. So it's showing you the difference between this model. This is what it used to look like, and this is what it looks like now. There's a Sender XRP wallet. Okay. And so interesting there. Now this is also interesting. David Mills, and I didn't say this the other day, but David Mills, I did cover this. David Mills, who was with the Federal Reserve Board, is going to be one of the speakers at Ripple. And then Ripple tweeted this out today. What needs to happen to safely and successfully innovate with CBDCs. David Mills of the Federal Reserve Board weighs in at Ripple Swell. So, folks, what we're seeing is all the talk, and all the talk is CBDC this, CBDC that. And listen to his quote. Part of our innovation process is to understand how emerging technologies or technologies that could be used for central bank digital currencies tie to security, protection of data, consumer protections, and legal foundations. We think both on these technology innovation front and on the policy and business side front. Okay, and that's David Mills from the Federal Reserve Board. All right, and that's what I've already shown you. Now, I wanted to show you this because this relates back to the Miguel Baez clip that I showed you in my last video. I want to take you back. Charlie Mayo, all right, he says, I want to live, this is from Greg Kidd, from the interview I did with Greg Kidd. He says, I want to live in a Star Trek world. This is one of the great, and then this is Charlie Mayo. He says, this is one of the greatest interviews done in the history of ever, which I appreciate. Now, I want you to listen to this. I'm going to tie this together with you with what Miguel Baez said and all this stable coin talk. And I'm going to show you what I've always thought, where this ends in the back of my mind and maybe in the front of my mind. I've even told you what I think. I'm going to go through this. First, watch what Greg Kidd says.
I'm assuming you know Miguel Baez, who's the ex-head of XRP Markets. My understanding is that he recently left Ripple.
Yep.
Now, the most interesting thing that he has ever said, and I love some of the words that come out of the people at Ripple, because that is what has kept me so fascinated by this company for so long. He said that Ripple had a simple goal of making XRP the world's reserve digital currency. So the question I have is, do you think that Ripple will achieve this goal?
Well, my hopes are tied up with his vision, but that's why I joined Ripple. I mean, when I joined Ripple, it looked like Bitcoin with 2 extra columns, currency and who issued that currency. And so, I want to live in the Star Trek world. And in the Star Trek world, it doesn't matter whether you're a Klingon, a Romulan, Federation, they could all buy dilithium crystals. But you can't do that if your form of value is all in a silo. And so Ripple was the first that basically had if you will, an intergalactic currency, something that could go everywhere. The great thing, though, I mean, Bitcoin had that as well, but in Bitcoin, you could only have Bitcoin. On Ripple, you could have both the XRP, but you could also have a representation of all the other fiat currencies. So there was a way in and a way out. So it's not just the chips at the poker table. Ripple built the casino in the window where you could exchange the chips to get into and out of dollars or any other fiat currency. And so
I love that Ripple built the casino and the window.
Currency for the world, having convertibility.
Oh, sorry, let's go back.
Out of dollars or any other fiat currency. And so, on the goal to becoming the digital currency for the world, having convertibility sounds like a good building block. So if Bitcoin was 1.0, Ripple looked like 2.0 to me, and it looked like it had a better chance both because of speed, performance, but this ledger that had both crypto but also fiat currency, that looks to me like the bridge between the old world and a possible new world.
All right. So then this morning, I was showing you this video from yesterday with Miguel Valles. About right here's where it gets really interesting. This is where he talks about an XRP price, quote, adjustment. All right. And keep in mind, he does not say the price would have to increase. He says a price adjustment. And as you know, if you're a listener to this channel, words mean things. Listen to what he says again.
The unit of account will still be the currencies. So if there were like an incredible rush of demand for XRP.
You mean like if it was a global bridge currency, a rush of demand? Let's go back. Hear it one more time.
So things will still be used and the unit of account will still be the currencies. So if there were like an incredible rush of demand for XRP to use as a settlement, asset globally, more likely than not, what would happen is the price would have to adjust to be able to facilitate that, right? And
the price would have to adjust, okay? Not the price would have to increase, which the free market would be involved in, but the price would have to adjust, okay? Let's look up the word adjustment because words do mean things here. A slight change made to something, not by like a free market, but made like by a hand, a person or a group of people making a change. A slight change made to something to make it fit, work better, or be more suitable. Like be more suitable as a world reserve digital currency. Let's read it all the way through. A slight change made to something to make it fit, work better, or be more suitable, or the act of making such a change. All right. Now so we have this because words mean things. And then there was this today. Oh my God, a global stablecoin agreement by mid-2021 by private sector. It's coming. These are the same guys over the G20, right? Listen up.
The remaining issues in order to reach a final agreement by mid-2021. On the financial sector's issue, we have made significant progress. We just endorsed the G20 roadmap to enhance cross-border payments to facilitate cheaper, faster, more inclusive, and transparent payment transactions. This would yield substantial benefits for households in developing countries and increase the presence of small and medium enterprises in the international trading system, benefiting emerging and advanced economies alike. While responsible technological innovation can deliver significant benefits to the financial system and the broader economy, we are closely monitoring developments and remain vigilant to existing and emerging risks. We agree that no so-called global stablecoin should commence operation until all relevant legal, regulatory, and oversight requirements are adequately addressed through appropriate design and by adhering to applicable standards. On the pandemic preparedness, I am sure that we all recognize that the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted systemic vulnerabilities in our capacity.
All right. So global stable coin. And then, this is a document that always stuck out to me. This is from back December 1st of 2019. We all know that Ripple as it is, XRP as it is not a stable coin. The value fluctuates up and down. Okay. It's stayed in a somewhat reasonable range for a long period of time, but you wouldn't refer to it right now as a stable coin. So the question I have, because Canada, this is Payments Canada that we talked about a week ago. They referred to both XLM and XRP right here. They say, stable coins for cross-border payment. Both Ripple and Stellar enable faster and more efficient cross-border payments relative to correspondent banking. It says here, 2 digital currencies that fall into this category are RippleNet's native digital currency, XRP, and Stellar Network's native cryptocurrency, the Stellar Lumen, XLM. So both of those are stable coins for cross-border payments to Payments Canada. That's the way they look at them. So my question, and we've got everybody in the world, as you'll see right here, the IMF, G20, BIS, gear up for central bank digital currencies. Everybody's gearing up for central bank digital currencies. Is it possible that words do mean things? And is it possible that Miguel Baez is talking about an adjustment because that's been the plan all along? That's all I'm saying to you is, I'm asking you, is it possible that the plan all along for XRP and maybe XLM as well has been to be a global digital asset, a global bridge currency whose price is adjusted higher to where it needs to be to handle these flows and to become a stable coin, or a stable coin with a floor that floats higher over time as more dollars and euros and whatever are flowing through it? Is that possible? I believe it's more than possible. I wanted to, Kevin, I saw this on Kevin Cage's thread today, and he reminded me of something I actually received from iTrustCapital. They sent me a mug. I'm actually drinking coffee right now out of their mug that you hear right now. This is the mug iTrustCapital sent me, and I'm having some coffee. But what was reminded to me, because I sent them an email to ask them, and Kevin Cage has a reminder here. Kevin Cage has a promo code. He has a get 1 month free that's pinned on his Twitter. He's got a link here. And he's also opened himself an account. He says he moved his old Roth IRA over so he could get gold and XRP inside of his account. Smart man. But I wanted to bring your attention that you can do what Kevin Cage is doing here as well. iTrustCapital, once you open an account, they've got a referral program so that you can invite your friends and you can both get you can get a referral fee, and then they get a free month as well, or something like that. And you get a referral code and a referral link. And even if you're not in, Blake Skadron over at iTrustCapital told me that once you're a client, if you refer to, I think it's 2 or more people, they will send you a little goodie bag. Don't quote me. I think it's 2 or more. You'll have to ask him, but they'll send you like a goodie bag where it's like a pin and a couple of pins and I'm wearing an iTrustCapital hat right now. But he'll send that to you. But more important, you need to know, especially with all these layoffs going on. This one is about Elizabeth Warren slamming Disney for laying off thousands of workers. There's layoffs everywhere you look right now. If you're one of those people and you had a 401k at your old job, you can roll that into an iTrustCapital IRA. You can create one, roll it into that. So, look in the description of every video I do, and there's a code there where you can get a free month from that code. Go check it out. There's a link where it'll take you right to them, and then you can schedule a time to talk to those guys about how it works and how to do it. It's a lot cheaper than the rest of what's out there. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that if they have an iTrustCapital account, they can refer people and actually get money back, is the way they've got it set up. Thank you for listening, and I will be in touch on the swell thing tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Every day, billions of people around the world are mocked, ridiculed, laughed at, and embarrassed by their friends, family, and even strangers. These people go through their days knowing there are secrets being kept from them. They hear the faint whispers behind closed doors. The information and knowledge is held very close and only shared with others who were fortunate enough to find out. Feeling lost, rejected, and ostracized, these people give up, never finding out what digital assets the digital asset investor holds. But there is hope. Join the free Digital Asset Investor email newsletter and find out what digital assets he owns each month, including investments he's considering. Click the link in the description of this video or go to digitalassetinvestornewsletter.com. Put an end to your days of gloom and depression. Join the greatest free digital asset email newsletter ever created.